Friends, in today's video, we are going to tell you about that amazing plan of Ibrahim Traore, which has made the whole world crazy. Yes, today we will know why Ibrahim Traore left hundreds of thousands of honeybees in Sahara. In today's video, we will understand this whole plan in detail. Why did it start? How did it start? What were the scientific grounds behind it? Despite all these dangers, it was advanced, and most importantly, why did this experiment surprise the world so much? Sahara Desert is not just an ocean of sand. It is such a desert that every year thousands of acres of fertile land of Africa are swallowed. Today, this desert has spread to 11 countries, and if its expansion is not stopped, then, according to experts, in the next few decades, a large part of Africa will be completely barren. This was the danger that had shaken Traore from within. He knew that if Sahara was not stopped, then the entire population of Western Africa would be in danger. Agriculture would be finished, animals would be finished, water would be finished, and life would be finished. Therefore, this was the moment when he gathered scientists, agricultural experts, and environmental specialists and asked a question: what could be the first step to change Sahara? After a long debate, a fact was revealed, that plants are the first to start life, but the plants are started by bees. That is, the first weapon to stop the desert was not water or trees, but bees. This one line changed the entire path. Traore announced that if the chain of life starts with bees, then the war will also start from there. But the problem was that Sahara is the hottest desert in the world, and honeybees die at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Here, sand of 150 degrees can destroy them in seconds. But Ibrahim said that the problem is not with bees, but with the species of bees. That is, if the species of honeybees cannot survive in Sahara, then such bees should be found that have been flying in fire-like weather since childhood. From here, Ibrahim Traore started his most amazing research. Collecting the data of those areas of Africa and Arabia where the heat is severe, water is low, and the weather is extremely merciless, but still there are some types of honey. This research led him to those two powerful bee species which the world calls heat-resistant honeybees. The first generation was East African land honeybee. These were the bees that had been living in the dry and hot valleys of East Africa for centuries. Their body was small, light in color, and their wings were stronger, which allowed them to fly in extreme heat. The second generation was Arabian or Nubian honeybee. These were the honeybees that had the ability to keep their hives in the scorching heat of southern parts of Sudan, Eritrea, Somalia, and Arabia. These two species had a special feature. These bees can quickly remove the hot air from the body, live in small groups, and can work up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. These bees lived where the common bees died. Ibrahim immediately decided that if he wanted to fight Sahara, then he would need these warlike bees. He ordered the experts to collect these special bees from different parts of Africa, test their genes, behavior, and heat tolerance, and then prepare them for this experiment. The world was surprised that a leader was even investigating the genome of the bees. Meanwhile, Ibrahim Traore's team received information that gave a new power to the whole concept of this project. Scientists told him that in Sahara, right in his heart, there was a place where honeybees lived for thousands of years. This place was the Kufra oasis of Libya, where remains of 5,000 to 10,000 years old bees and their genetic samples were discovered. It was surprising that these bees were from before Sahara, when this area was green, rivers flowed, and wildlife roamed freely here. When the weather changed, the river dried up, the land burned to sand, and the entire area turned into a desert. Even then, the genes of these bees continued to try to keep themselves alive in this environment, and some small settlements were still present around the oasis. This discovery was no less than a blessing for Traore. He was convinced that if ancient bees could survive in this changing environment for thousands of years, then today's modern heat-resistant bees could do much better. Now, from here, Ibrahim Traore's project began, which could not only be a science, but could also be the basis of a social revolution. Traore knew that bees do not just bring back flowers, but revive the entire ecosystem. Honeybees protect billions of dollars of crops all over the world. In America alone, wild and farmed bees have an economic value of about $15 billion. That is, where bees come back, not only do plants grow, but markets, commerce, fruits, vegetables, gardens, everything comes back to life. Traore understood this reality. He knew that if the bees were successfully settled on the banks of the Sahara, then first the wild plants would come back, then the grass would grow, then the butterflies, then the animals, and then humans would also start populating again. It was a regreening chain reaction of the entire area, a process that could change the environment, economy, and population of the entire desert by starting with a small group of insects. But friends, when Ibrahim Traore planned to leave the heat-resistant bees in the Sahara, the change that followed shocked the experts. As soon as he left these strong African and Nubian species of bees on the banks of the Sahara, the action that Traore had been seeing in his mind for years, the silent return of life, began. The seeds hidden in the soil, which had been sleeping for years, began to wake up again. In just a few weeks, small plants appeared, which attracted more insects, birds, and animals towards them. This was the same chain reaction that the bees always bring along wherever they go. Flowers, seeds, grass, butterflies, animals, and then humans. Traore also ordered his team to mark all the places in the Sahara where underground water is present, so that micro-green zones can be created there and the bees continue to get food. As the areas began to turn green, another surprising benefit emerged. The number of desert snakes began to increase. And where there are snakes, there is a terrifying creature created by God, but a just creature, honey badger. This animal eats bee larvae, but also kills poisonous desert snakes. That is, not only did the arrival of bees bring back plants, but also a natural security system. Scientists were surprised to note that as the bees spread, the Sahara environment was no longer just a warm sand beach. It was becoming such an area where life was taking its own course again. But Traore knew that the bees themselves could not change the desert. Water, soil, and the environment were also essential. The world had thought that this was a crazy plan, but now there was only one question on every side. Is Traore really going to be the first person to bring Sahara back to life? Some scientists also reminded that the sand of the Sahara reaches hundreds of thousands of tons of agricultural land, seas, and forests like the Amazon every year. So Traore did not want to end the desert, but pushed its limits back and wanted to turn it into a balanced system. At the end of all this, the world realized that leaving the bees in the Sahara was not just an experience, it was a regeneration plan that could save Africa from future droughts, climate change, and economic crises. And friends, if this experience was successful, then it is possible that tomorrow the world will see that there was no scientist or international institution that changed the Sahara, but a young captain named Ibrahim Traore. Friends, if you also found this plan of Ibrahim Traore to be as surprising and hopeful as the world's experts think, then do give us your opinion. Do you think that the Sahara can really be brought back to life through bees? Is this a plan that will change the future of Africa? Or is it all a big risk? Your opinion is very important to us, so do tell us in the comments how you see Traore's bold move. Was it a madness or the biggest scientific miracle of the coming time?